What's up, guys? Got a UFC video here today. It's gonna be on the UFC Fight Night card, UFC Fight Night 90, Dos Anjos versus Alvarez. So I'm not sure which fights exactly are the like the Fight Pass prelims, because the whole card's on Fight Pass. So I'm just gonna go ahead and assume that it's gonna be Burns, the Burns fight, the Beltran fight, and the Herrera fight. You know, they're gonna be like the start of the card pretty much. So I'll be doing these three fights. So let's go ahead and get started, guys. So I'm gonna start with the first fight here, first fight of the night. I think Vicente Alvaro. So both these guys good strikers. Alvaro's a little bit better with his hands, and I think Vicente here is overall, you know, like the better striker, you know, with the kicks and whatnot. But Alvaro has the better hands for sure. This guy has some really good boxing. I could tell, like, the way he you know, throws his hands out there and his combinations. And on his last fight especially, where this guy landed a first round knockout against some guy he fought, was able to get that first round finish, and it was with a nice little combination. So this guy's a lot of power. Let's go ahead and start out by looking at his page first. So this is Alvaro Herrera's page right here. As you guys can see, we got his summary: good hands, strong heart and mind. He's a Mexican fighter, and as you can see, his only fight in the UFC was against some guy named Vernon Ramos. Now I don't know how good this guy is, but you know, he got starched really quick by this guy. Let's check this guy's record and whatnot. So this guy, 3-1, jiu-jitsu fighter, and he hasn't fought since either. So pretty much jiu-jitsu guy, you know, obviously not as good as Alvaro on the stand-up. Ended up getting finished really quick. So that's his only fight in the UFC. I think this guy's from that, you know, from that tough Mexico or whatever. As you guys can see right there, tough Latin America #2, I guess. But yeah, besides that, I don't really know too much about this guy. I tried to find some footage on him, but from what I'm seeing, his takedown defense doesn't seem super good. Ground game, not too sure about his ground game either, but he does have some submission wins, 3 by submission, as you guys can see here. He has 2 guillotine and then a triangle armbar submission. So wait, 2 guillotine, triangle armbar, oh, and then 1 by DQ. Okay. But yeah, his ground game pretty much, I would say, is not too good, especially compared to Vicente's right here. So Vicente's page, they don't even got a summary on this guy, because I guess, you know, who needs a summary, right? So this guy's record's not too good, 8-5-1, but you know, he seems like a decent fighter. His fight against this guy right here, Haydar Hassan. Haydar was doing kind of good, and then ended up getting caught with a good punch, and he tried to go for like a takedown, and then Vicente was able to wrap up a really quick submission on him. So this guy is very dangerous. So here's Haydar's page. He also hasn't fought since that fight. That was a very recent fight, December 19 right there, 2015. This guy seems like he was just a striker. Looked like he had really good striking in that fight. Before that, this guy lost to Michael Graves, who's a pretty good fighter, good wrestler, good takedowns on 1-9. He just ended up getting taken down the whole fight, I guess. So pretty much, guys, this is gonna be I want to say it's going to be kind of like a stand-up fight, because Vicente doesn't have really good takedowns. If you guys see his grappling stats, you know, he doesn't really have any. If you guys see right here, as you guys can see, no takedown. He has never landed a takedown in his in his UFC fights. So, you know, his wrestling is probably not super good, but like I'm saying, Alvaro here, you know, it seems like his ground game's lacking. So, you know, I don't think he wants to go to the ground anyway. So if Vicente tries to go for takedowns, I think he might be able to get one, but I really think this fight's going to be more on the feet. And I mean, Alvaro does have the better boxing here, but I just really think Vicente is a little bit too well-rounded here, seeing as he has the way better submission advantage, guys. If you guys look at this guy's page right here, I'm pretty sure he's like I don't know if he's a black belt, but you know, I'm pretty sure he has some really good jiu-jitsu though. Okay, let's see. Yeah, there it is. I am a brown belt in jiu-jitsu, and he also says I have been a champion of the Brazilian Amateur Kickboxing Cup. So yeah, this guy's for sure has some good striking, and also another good note here, owns a 2012 knockout win over current UFC fighter Thiago Santos, and that guy is fighting against Musasi on UFC 200, and that guy's a beast. So this guy was able to knock him out, and you know, I know that was probably that's a while back, but still, this guy was able to knock him out. So this guy does have some power in his hands, just like Alvaro does. But overall, I think Vicente is just going to be a little bit too much of a well-rounded fighter for Alvaro. But I mean, also don't count Alvaro out. I know he's going to be a big underdog here from what the odds say. But this guy, you know, he does have some good boxing, like I'm saying. So, you know, this is just my pick. I'm just not gonna take the underdog this time. I'm taking Vicente here, and Vicente has all wins by finish, guys. This guy's a fucking finisher. So I'm gonna go ahead and take Vicente to get I'm gonna go ahead and say a second round submission win. So that's gonna be my pick, guys. Vicente, second round submission. Next fight here, we got Marco Beltran against Reginaldo Vieira. So to be honest, not too impressed with both of these guys, but here are their pages. Loading them up. So let's go ahead and just start with Beltran here. Summary: Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. To be honest, this guy looks like he has some really good kicks. So I really didn't think that was really his background. But then again, I look at his submission record, and obviously does have some submissions. Yeah, he's had 2 fights in the UFC, and as you guys can see, it's like he fights like every year or something like that. Anyways, his last fight against Ning Guan Yu, this guy just pretty much won by outpointing Ning, using good footwork, using kicks. Also was able to get a takedown. As you guys can see, his takedowns, this guy it looks like he lands a takedown every fight, well, based on his 2 UFC fights. So this guy does have some takedowns. Probably not super good, but I mean, still gets them. But anyways, yeah, he won that fight against Ning Guan Yu, but it was a split decision, and it did look kind of like a close fight. But I would say Marco Beltran's his skill set would be like, you know, some good kicks, footwork, and apparently his jiu-jitsu skills. Now let's go ahead and look at Reginaldo's page here. Summary: Boxing, Multi, Jiu-Jitsu. Now I seen his fight against this guy right here, Delano Lopez, and Lopez landed 3 takedowns in that fight. But yeah, it didn't really look like Reginaldo here really did like. He didn't really look like a really good striker out there to me anyway in that fight. He looked kind of like sloppy-ish. You know, I wasn't really just too impressed with this guy overall. But apparently, you know, he does have that background. This is right here, won several titles in multi-boxing and MMA. So, I mean, he has that background, but he also has some good submissions. If you guys look at his submission percentage there. 4-5 winning streak, 10 wins by submission, 6 by guillotine, 2 armbar, heel hook. Yeah, so to be honest, both these guys, I'm not really too impressed with them. I think if we look at the odds here, Reginaldo's a favorite. Yeah, he's a slight favorite. So I'm not gonna go for him though. I'm gonna go ahead and take Marco Beltran, guys. I think he's gonna do a similar type of game plan like he did in his last fight, just kind of like try to outpoint Reginaldo. The thing is about Beltran, this guy does not land a shit ton of volume. I mean, we look at his last fights. 30 strikes he landed. His other fight, 31 strikes. Like what the fuck? Like, what's going on there? This guy, he's kind of like a counter striker. He likes to counter you. Likes throwing the right high head kick. So he really likes throwing that head kick. From what I noticed, you know, I'm pretty sure he's gonna be throwing it against this guy. But yeah, this guy, yeah, not really too impressed with him. But I'm gonna go ahead and pick him, guys. I'm not too impressed at all with Reginaldo here. But he's the favorite, so I mean, he does throw more volume and whatnot, but I'm just not too impressed with that guy. Also, Beltran here is going to have a reach advantage, which I guess why he likes using his footwork and just like outpointing you from the outside, just like outstriking you from the outside pretty much. And yeah, I don't think Reginaldo is going to be able to, you know, get in there very often against Beltran. Beltran does have some good knees though, from what I saw in that last fight. You know, like in the end of the round or something like that. Does throw some good knees, some good clinch. But yeah, it seems like he's just like he hangs back a little bit too much. But I'm gonna go ahead and say that he still wins, guys, and I'm gonna go ahead and say Beltran wins by decision. All right, so we'll move on to the next fight here. So moving on to the next fight, guys. It's going to be Gilbert Burns against Lucas Sajewski or something like that. Anyways, so this is going to be a really simple pick here. I'm going to go ahead and just pick Gilbert Burns, guys. I'm not going to look too much into this. To be honest, I don't know too much about Lucas here. But on his last fight against Rick Hine, here's his page, Submissions and Wrestling, I was not really too impressed with him. Nick Hine has okay stand-up and some good power in his punches. And he's a judo guy, so I'm guessing that's why Lucas couldn't take him down. But either way, he did not look good in that fight. You know, I didn't really see anything from this guy that stood out to me, like a good striker or anything like that. Summary here. Apparently he has 7 first round finishes, 3 wins by KO, 6 by submission. So pretty much, this right here, I have a BJJ blue belt and, you know, whatnot. So pretty much this guy seems like he's all about his submissions and all about his wrestling. Now the thing is here is Gilbert Burns is also all about his wrestling and all about his submissions, except he has a way better stand-up game, I would say. So here's Gilbert Burns' page in case you guys want to see it. Here it is. Summary: submissions, takedowns, and knockout power. This guy does have some you know, some wins by knockout or by finish. You guys can see right there, it's 30% by knockout. But this guy, he mostly likes tapping people out. And so right there, 6 wins by submission, 2 rear naked choke, 4 arm bar. Yeah, this guy's a big guy and really likes using his takedowns pretty much to set up the submissions on the ground, obviously, once he takes you down. But yeah, this guy's explosive. To be honest, this guy kind of reminds me of Warley Alves. I think they're both very similar. Both are Brazilian, and they both seem to have like a very similar skill set, to be honest. So pretty much comparing them to Lucas here, like I'm saying, both of them seem like they have good submissions and wrestling and whatnot, but I think Burns here is way more explosive with his takedowns, better submissions, and also he's just the better striker, guys. So I'm gonna go ahead and take Gilbert Burns here. And you know, this guy's a finisher, but I'm not so sure, you know, he gets a finish here against Lucas. You know, Lucas seems like a tough guy, but yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and say Gilbert Burns here wins by 3rd round submission, guys. That's gonna be my pick. So Burns by 3rd round submission. Alright guys, so that's gonna be it. Like I said, I'm not really too sure how they're setting up this you know, like which fights start first and whatnot, you know, like prelims, Fight Pass prelims, because this whole card's on Fight Pass. But I'm just gonna go ahead and just, like I said, I'm just gonna do these 3. Next video I'll do the I'll start from like McDessie all the way to the Sanders fight, 4 fights, and the main card I'm guessing would be like Dos Anjos fight all the way to the Pyle fight. Alright guys, so that's gonna be it for these predictions for these 3 fights on the Fight Pass card. Dos Anjos versus Alvarez. And yeah guys, to recap, I picked Vicente here to win by 2nd round submission. I got Beltran here winning by decision, and Burns here winning by a 3rd round submission. Alright guys, so those are my picks. Thanks for watching the video. If you guys want to see me make more of these videos, well, you know, let me know. I try to make them you know, as much as I can, but you know, I'm very busy with work and whatnot, so you know, I'm probably not gonna be able to do all the predictions for like all the fights, because I know there's gonna be a shit ton of fights you know, this coming week, you know, Thursday through Saturday, but we'll see what happens. But anyways, thanks for watching, and catch you on the next video.